my Hunnamaniacs out there, welcome back to the channel. It's so great to see you again. Yes, I know this is really late, because normally I try to get a review of a movie up like the weekend it comes out, and yeah, this came out like 2 weeks ago. So sorry about that, but it took me a while to kind of figure out what I thought about this movie. It wasn't like the other films where I just walk out and know exactly what I think about it. It took me some time to really, gather all my thoughts together. And even for a while I debated even making this at all, but you know what? I had a lot of people ask for it, so you're gonna get it. Here's my review of Toy Story 4, but before we go into it, I need to let y'all know, this is gonna be a spoiler one. I mean, the film's already been out for 2 weeks now. If you're watching this, it means you probably have already seen it. And to talk about why it took me so long to get my thoughts on it, I need to go into spoilers here. So, the story of Toy Story 4 picks up where the third one left off after about a month or so. You find out that Woody is a toy that's kind of more or less forgotten by Bonnie. Bonnie doesn't want to play with Woody anymore. But Woody is determined to help Bonnie regardless, even though she's not playing with him. So he stows away in her backpack and goes with her first day to kindergarten. While she's there, she makes Forky, and Forky is her friend that gets her through her first day of kindergarten. Or is it first grade? I don't remember. Whatever grade she's in, that's what they're doing. Then they go on a vacation, on an RV trip, which is weird they're going on an RV trip as soon as she starts school, but man, whatever, movie. So Woody is going with Forky and the rest of the toys, and they're all going on this adventure, but Forky keeps wanting to throw himself away because he's trash and doesn't realize that he's alive. So Woody's trying to get him to realize, hey, look, you're a toy and you're Bonnie's favorite toy, so totally go be with her and stuff. He has a hard time getting it. And then Woody and Forky get lost from the rest of the group on the RV tour. He happens to run into the antique shop where Bo Peep was for a long time. Goes there, finds the character Gabby Gabby, who's trying to steal his voice box. They run into Bo Peep, and then, everything else happens from there. So what are my initial thoughts on this? Overall, objectively, this is a good movie. It is well done. Of course, it's Pixar. The animation is just absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous. There is some great stuff that they cover here that we haven't seen in Toy Story movies before, like what is a lost toy? What happens with a lost toy? Do they have no purpose? What do they do? What is all of this stuff? What is the role of a toy who doesn't have a child? And we look at that from multiple angles. What about one who's just sitting on an antique shop shelf, never being bought, which we kind of experimented with that in Toy Story 2 with Stinky Pete, but this is someone who's actually still there, so that's an interesting concept to cover. And then Bo Peep and all the lost toys and carnival toys and all that stuff, you see what goes on in their world, which they're both interesting topics, and I think that Pixar did a lot to expand on that. It is well told. They go through a really good story arc. You really see how everything plays out. Overall, it is a good film. It's a good film. However, as a sequel, I have some issues with it. Now, granted, a lot of people who don't like Toy Story 4 say that Toy Story 3 was the perfect ending and we didn't need another one. I tend to kind of fall in that group, but I will at least acknowledge Toy Story 4 for what it is, a well-made movie that continues on after the third. It wasn't necessary. It really wasn't necessary, but I at least enjoyed what we got. I just couldn't get this out of my head that this story really didn't need to exist. We really didn't need it. Toy Story 3 ended better for everybody, I thought. I guess I'm alone in this because everyone is adoring this film and says that it was exactly what we needed and the story had to continue. I guess I'm missing something. I really feel like I'm missing something because everybody's sitting there going, yes, this was perfect. This is what we needed. And I'm like, I honestly was happier with Toy Story 3. But I didn't hate this. I thought it was fun. It just was, it was just a weird way to take the story. And I think the thing that got me most was actually what they did with Woody. Now, straight off the bat, this movie should not have been called Toy Story 4. It should have been called Woody. The title of the movie should have been Woody because it's all about him and really him getting to find Bo Peep, and it's their story. Even characters like Buzz Lightyear have no point in this movie. I know they try to give him a point where he's got his little subplot where he thinks that his buttons are his conscience. I'm sorry, that just felt weird to me. Granted, it led to some funny scenes. I'm not saying they weren't funny, but I'm just saying it kind of came at the expense of Buzz's intelligence. To the point where I'm like, okay, if this had happened in Toy Story 2, I might have bought it. But we've been through Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3. And it's been like, what? 12, 13 years since Buzz thought he was a real space ranger and all this stuff, and he was a little bit of a space cadet, if you know what I mean. But now he's intelligent. He understands that. We even see in the second movie, he gets that conscience feeling where he's like, we have to go find Woody because he saved me. What kind of friend would I be if I didn't go save him? That's obviously his conscience talking. He knows what that is, and yet they just act like he doesn't know anything. So I'm like, all right, that's a little weird, but it led to some funny scenes, so I can kind of look past it, although it's weird. And then what they did with Woody, I was not thrilled with. I mean, I like the idea of exploring like what happens when a kid doesn't love a toy, and I guess I can kind of see it happening with Woody, but the way he treats it doesn't make any sense with his character. That's one of the great things we've seen throughout Toy Story 1, 2, and 3, is that regardless of what happens, Woody is going to be there for his kid. It is so honorable, and it's such an endearing quality, and it's so great about him that even when he's left in a toy chest for, 10, 12 years by Andy, he's still there saying, we're going to be here for Andy when he needs us. We're going to be here for Andy when he needs us. That you might say that that's kind of a stupid thing because he's an adult and he doesn't need his toys anymore, but I just think that's so honorable of Woody that he's going to stick with Andy through thick and thin, even when Andy completely abandons him forever. And honestly, when this movie started, I thought they were going to just nail that home even more. He's like, look, I don't care if Bonnie doesn't play with me. Eventually, she might need me. I need to be there for her. And it kind of just took the route where he just said, yeah, forget her, I want to go be with Bo. Whereas it's a cute ending for him, I guess, but it kind of just retconned his character, I felt. Because that was one of his defining traits is that he was so loyal that he would do anything for his kid. And now it's just, he kind of left her, and you say, well, that's different. Bonnie wasn't playing with him. Well, neither was Andy. And he's still stuck with him. Now, it might have been a little different because he was Andy's toy much longer, and he was Andy's favorite. But that's weird that Bonnie didn't want to play with him anymore, especially after how much she loved him in the third. I don't know, I just felt that was a little forced, and I just felt that was really outside of Woody's character. Which, yeah, I understand the argument that some people are like, but that's a crazy thing to do, is to sit here and wait for somebody who's never going to come. What kind of lesson is that? And I understand that point. But at the same time, it's just so admirable to see someone with that level of loyalty. We don't see that anymore. But this felt like, to me, was a really well done, really expensive fan fiction for Toy Story 4. And it was somebody who really wanted to see what would happen with Woody and Bo Peep, which is a cool idea. And it was fun to explore. And I enjoyed the film as a whole. It just felt, it didn't feel like it was necessary. Nor did I really feel like it really exemplified the characters as a whole, especially because the main toys, we barely see them. They just kind of sit in the back. Now, granted, the new toys we get are great. I loved Bunny and Ducky. They were hysterical. I loved Duke Kaboom. Bo Peep, they did a great job with. Even Gabby Gabby got some great moments out of me too. I even liked Forky as much as I thought I would dislike him. I actually really liked Forky. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this film is bad. I'm saying as a movie on its own, it's fantastic. Very well done. Really enjoyed it. As a sequel to Toy Story, it was weird because Buzz and Woody didn't really do what Buzz and Woody normally do. And a lot of the stuff they did felt out of character. I just thought it was weird that I got a stronger emotion out of what happened with Gabby Gabby's storyline than I did what happened with Woody or Buzz. And that really didn't sit well with me. I know people are saying that they were crying in the theater and everything else. I definitely wasn't that. I was a crier in Toy Story 3. But in Toy Story 4, I was just like, that's your ending? Woody wouldn't do this. What's going on? And then the whole saying bye to Buzz, I was like, y'all did a better goodbye with everybody in Toy Story 3. This didn't feel like the big ending that Toy Story needed. 3 felt like that. But like I said, I didn't hate Toy Story 4. I actually really enjoyed it. It felt weird, and I don't really think that it needed to exist. But if there had to be a Toy Story 4, I don't think they could have done a whole lot better. So, I'll give them that. It's probably my least favorite out of all the Toy Story films, but I still hold it in pretty high regard. Whereas Toy Story 1, I'd probably give about an A. Toy Story 2, I give an A also. Toy Story 3, I get an A++. Toy Story 3 is like one of my favorite Pixar films, just period. I could be a little biased in the way I'm viewing it. And then Toy Story 4, I'd give it a solid B+. So, it's not far from the rest of the pack. Like I said, it's a very good, enjoyable film. I had fun with it. It was just a weird sequel, and there's anything that involved the main characters we've seen before felt weird, and everything with the new characters was great. So overall, where do I stand on it? It's a good film. It's just not the best of sequels, in my opinion. Apparently, I'm alone in this because everybody thinks it was the perfect ending and we really needed this. So, I respect your opinion if that's where you are, and I think that's great, and that was the ending that you needed. Perfect. As for me, Toy Story 3 is where I would have ended it, but I ain't mad at this. I enjoyed it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye!